And I remember specifically when we were talking about when you first started, like at your
Mhm.
school, that you were doing a lot of announcing and a lot of
Yep.
like interviewing, and now your role has kind of changed from that. But
Right.
are there any like crossovers that you brought with you from those, those two main tasks that you had that you now bring into your senior producing role?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's formulating a lot of like how you want to approach different, whether it's a person or whether it's an athlete, whatever it is. It's all about communication, really.
Yeah.
At the core of it, it's I announced for a bunch of different sports, but I always was. It taught me a lot about research too. Going into an interview, I still have to research the person. I'm interviewing some people now with the Bucks, and that research thing that I was allowed to, or that I was able to kind of study, look things up, doing research that's not just the high level, like, oh, how was your family life, or like all those different things. Like it's talking about an opportunity that, oh, when you were a wide receiver at your college, you were third string. How did that like kind of teach you to carry that mindset into the next level? Or when you got to that wide receiver one role, what were you able to do that you learned from the wide receiver three? All those different things that I think it was just research was one thing that I took out of that. And radio shows, it's all about being prepared. TV, the same thing, just knowing what you're going to say before you say it, so it doesn't come out jumbled, or you come out expressing yourself in the way that you want to express yourself, and not just word vomiting everything out there. It's just kind of being calm, confident, and collected in those moments that allows you to kind of just display yourself in the way that you want to be displayed.
Yeah, I think research is huge. And specifically to your point about research, I think that plays a huge role in your desire,
Mm.
because when you desired to know, or when you desired to, have a role with the Bucks and have a role in sports, you did all your research, looking up how they structure their emails even. You're
Yep.
like,
Yep.
how would this email be like? And so I feel like research is a huge thing, when it comes to your desire. And were you ever, when did that play like a huge role, like research specifically? Were you like, hey, like this is what you have to do now? Like, was there a turning point for you where you were like, I can't do it this way anymore, I have to do it this way now?
Yeah, I think that obviously, if I wanted to have that ideal, I wanted to have that goal at the end
Yeah.
of achieving working in the NFL. So it's like whatever I had to do. So I kind of learned that in terms of like the email looking up stuff. So my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she was just like, I'm sure that this is how they set up their emails. And I was like writing out different things that it could be. And so I would like send out a few and then be like, I didn't get any responses. I'd wait a week. I'd look up a different way to, instead of like writing their first and last name, I would just be the first initial and their last name at Buccaneer, whatever. And so I think that allowed me to kind of stay on the grind, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a really weird way to like formulate that sentence of being like, oh, looking up a person's email is staying on the grind. Um, but no, so I think that I think research went into it because of my desire. I think that I identified that my end goal was working in the NFL. So I would do anything to get to that spot. I was looking at what other teams were doing, sideline reporting, and I would use that to my advantage to, if I was a sideline reporter at my school, I knew going into it, this is how the pros do it. This is how
Yeah.
I'm also going to do that. Because if
Yeah.
you can imitate greatness sometimes, but then you have to curve your own path or carve your own path. And that's what I was allowing my personality to shine through. I was building these relationships so that when I went out there and I interviewed somebody on the sideline, I was composed enough to be having a conversation. It wasn't just asking them questions and then cool, let's go back up. It was like you're having a conversation with somebody. End of the game, how did it feel? How did it make you feel? What were some of the emotions? All those different things that allowed this person to be a human. But it's because I was researching, I was creating relationships, I was creating bonds, and that turned into good content, or that turned into a compelling broadcast. All those different things. It helped me to kind of leverage my personality into just opportunities.